Hello, my little purifiers. How are you doing today? You ready to finish off with me, get these endings, and talk about feelings? Let's go. Bis finicti se vini in Victoria. I don't know what to make of that either, but that's what he said to me as I left him, so I thought I should record that. Alright, I saved. Let's do this. Yes, I'm sure. I want to enter. I'm ready. Chapter 1. The Queen. This is Mama. Ne. Maybe something happened where we stopped identifying with the hero and we started identifying with the villain. The first thing she said was, "You are finally here, Batter. Long has been the wait for your arrival, but your way was in vain. You will only cause embarrassment here. Go back home." Always keeping his icy confidence, the Batter replied, "That's what I did. This cradle is the home of my father. The guardians have fallen. You are queen of a kingdom that no longer exists." Surprised but not at all disconcerted, she asks him, "Why have you destroyed the land that I had rebuilt?" The answer was simple. You've never been here to do such a thing. Your role was to take care of him, and you have failed your task. And because of you, I must now complete my sacred mission. Forcing their monotonous dialogue despite the Batter's attacks, the Queen explained her actions as such. "I have created all of this only for him. I desire nothing more than the happiness of my children. Lost in preparing the birthday party, you forgot who it was for." This final retort completely eroded the patience of the Queen. "You have spoiled the carnival, Batter. I will not let you lay a hand on the son who brought us into the world. Today you will fall." Okay, here we go. I have some comment. I'll just say that I think is a theme of. I guess we should have looked at her, but it's fine. Okay, you don't even know his first name. Oh my god, everything's happening. Everything's happening. Wait, hold on. You know what? Let's attack these side thingies. We gotta get all this stuff. And you... Okay. Zero, jeez. "There is nothing but the void after me." I think she's right. I do. I didn't mean to poison that thing, but that's fine, I suppose. This is a musical one. I want to get rid of the side stuff first, obviously. But they're strong. You don't even know his first name. The first name of the son or the first name of the Batter? The first name of the boy, the little boy. What do you think Pablo is? I never really talked about that. Oh, no, we talked about it a little. I don't remember. Don't worry about it. No dessert for you. No dessert for you. But then the dessert was bad. The dessert... Oh, I didn't mean to attack her, but that's fine. I feel like this game's gonna come at me, and I'm not gonna be prepared to, like... I feel like I need time to digest what I'm learning or something. Is this the last fight, or... I kinda don't think so. That was very irresponsible on your part, Batter. I made a big cake for the party tonight. Would you like some coffee, my love? Queen of the Flies, it is time to join your disciples. Nothing went right. We must forget it all and dream sweet dreams now. Look, he has your eyes. However, his show fear. This is the room where the kid is. Chapter 0, the Batter. Killing off your old weak self to have this self, this new persona of yourself. So red. This is the music box song, right? I think so. I'm here. We have to kill this kid. We cannot flee. Will this kid hurt us or no? I don't like the idea of hurting a child. Defending. I think though that this is us. The batter is us. I mean, this kid is us. So it's like killing your old baby self. I do think this kid is not alive, like in the real world. And that maybe this is like a... You know how the one of them said like, oh, all of these things are... All the phantoms are the souls of the dead people. Yeah, he's just gonna defend. Oh, that feels so bad. I hate that. I hate that. It feels so bad. So I'm stalling. But I think this is... I'm trying to conceptualize the story as we're going, because I feel like I'm getting thrown all this information at once, and I want to make sure I'm, like, getting it. I feel like all of this, like, the Don, all these guys, they're all dead people, too. Maybe people we met at a hospital, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But... those are, like, we're all souls, and this is soul, too. So I don't know what it means to kill off these other... Hugo! Oh, Hugo! A little boy. Hugo. I don't want to kill Hugo. But I think we're going to have to, and I hate that. I hate this. I hate this so much. I really do. It, like, makes me feel viscerally sick. I hate this. I hate this. But let's just hurry up and get it over with, because I don't want to do it. And I think the longer I wait, the worse he's defending and stuff. It'll just make it longer. But I freaking hate this so much. Also, poison has been the MVP move. I love that move. I use it all the time. I literally never used that, and I guess I should have. I hate this! I hate this so much! I hate this! Ugh! You know how I feel about children getting hurt. I hate it. Even though this is kind of like a weirder situation. I freaking hate this. I hate this. I hate it. I'm scared of the dark. From now on, there will be no more darkness. Oh, this one is named Pablo, ne? I've still caught up on Valerie and Pablo, I'm assuming. Okay, whatever. Stop right there, you imposter. To say that I had placed the blindest confidence, the solidest hope, the sincerest belief in you, we can well say that I was led terribly astray. But the one who has truly betrayed us lies beyond the eye of the cat. What have you done, Melody? I know, I'm a monster. Is the obscuring mist of the narrative really your excuse to killing a woman and child? I know. You have not purified this place, you have destroyed, eradicated it, you have plunged it into sterile nothingness. It's better like that. I should not have lent you my hand from the beginning of the piece. I should have detected the black flame that consumes your soul. Melody, join me. Expedite the sins of which we are guilty by preventing this monster from completing his work. Oh, jeez. Don't do that. I need you to, in order to purify this world. The time has now come to render your final and futile verdict. Oh, it tells me the official ending. The batter, official ending. The judge, special ending. Do you think I got this because I got the things? Like, do you think I would have only gotten this one had I not gotten the other things? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The judge. I'm going with judge. I'm sorry. We are a freaking monster. I felt like this since the beginning. So I'm not siding with him. But it's kind of like too little too late. We already killed all these things. Although, ne? I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna do both, but I want to make my piece. This is the one that I'm doing, like, my picking, right? The last time we saw the judge, he was, like, not okay. Do we know it's him? You know what I mean? Like, do we know that this is actually the judge? It sounds like him. Or is this the same thing that happened with the Valerie, where it looked like Valerie, but it wasn't Valerie, it was the bird? But at this point, who is stopping us from our goal, aside from the judge? Like, there's no other soul that could go into the judge and say, like, stop. But we don't really know the judge's motivation. I'm going with the judge anyway, though. Because I agree. I agree with all of the things that we've done are so bad. I don't want that. That choice, which even though is pathetically useless, I think is the right one. I think so too, because at this point, it is kind of useless, but I don't want to turn this switch. I'm assuming we're going to turn it off. We turn everything off, and the end is just nothing. You're scared of everything, that you don't want to do anything. Feeling? And now batter. Taste our vindictive thirst for pointless justice. We're fighting the batter, who looked like a monster. Magic home run. Oi, I. Oh my god. Oh, we should palsy him. This is so weird. Because I'm assuming these are the attacks that we would do if we... So, the other route is we kill the judge. Ne? It would be flipped and we would kill the judge. I have no words for this, girl. I really don't, except for I want to get to the other ending. I'm so curious. What is it? Now what? Your demented crusade ends here. Die, batter, with the eternal souvenir of not having conducted your sad scheme to its unjust end. It's too late. Everything is lost. I know, but I prefer this over your victory. Nothing remains now except for our regrets. This is a sad ending. But I feel comfortable with it. I do. I mean, as comfortable as you're gonna feel with this kind of game. Meh? But I really want to do the other ending. The official ending. Oh, shit. I'm not trying to get copyright stricken. It's the Somewhere Over the Rainbow song. We all know the song. I'm sorry I cannot hear it. Have you hear it. You know how YouTube is. We have no joy here. No music is allowed. I feel like... No, I know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna do the other ending. And then I'm gonna make my kind of final commentary. Not today. This kind of game I need to sit on. Like, sleep on it. I very much love this game, though. Oh my god. I really do. I feel like I liked it a lot before. But this last section it was so good. It is so good. So, I have a question. This is not... this is a Judy Garland song. She's obviously a huge person. Because this game was free, you can use those assets, or technically, like, if somebody on her team found out, you wouldn't be able to. Like, it doesn't really matter. I was just curious. Oh, Mortis Ghost, the creator, is Enoch. And Elson is... Oh, interesting. I guess that makes sense. You use the people who are there. This ending is very, very sad for the judge, though. Nothing is here. Everything is gone. He has that one guy in the freaking, what's it called? That underground bunker thing. That's like the only person here. He just kind of hang out by himself. But well, I was gonna say, but this is the better ending. But is it? I'm assuming the ending of Batter everyone dies. It just turns off. Everything's off. So, I guess I will say what I feel right now. That I feel like this game is about, like, we're kind of a great, what is it called? Shinigami? The kid is scared of dying, and is probably going to die, and maybe was picked up by the mother because there's no hope for this kid. And the batter is, like, coming to turn everything off. Everything is going to be over, kind of feeling. I feel like there's more there that I'm not picking. Oh, just kind of abruptly stopped the song. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna immediately do the next end. I really want to know the other ending, so I will play through this part now. BRB. Part of me is wondering if we're like the dad? If we're the dad? Because she says, like, oh, do you want coffee or something? Like, he has your eyes. It makes me feel like, did the dad kill the kid? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's not something that I thought of right away, but it's something that, if they all represent something, that maybe we were somebody who killed the kid? I don't know. I don't know. Now I don't know. I don't know. Look, I don't know. The thing I don't understand is, where does Zachary lead into all this? Was Zachary, like... you know what I mean? Is he just completely separate from the whole story? Where he's like I guess, like the creator of the game in some aspect? Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because it's not so much that. He just is aware that this is a world that was constructed by the queen. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I need more time on it. I need more time on it. I need more time on it. Okay, here we go. I know, we're bad. We're bad. We're bad. Bad kid. Okay. Okay, official ending, batter. Too bad for you, Melody. You will die in control of the evil marionette. It is time for you to bid farewell to what little you have left of your existence. I feel like... I feel like he's going to be a very, very hard fight, seeing his moveset. But here we go. Oh! He was way easier than I thought. He had less HP than I thought. I was, like, really in the zone. We are fine. It's over. Escaping from your purpose is impossible. The switch is now off. Putting the sound away. It's very lovely, the music. Sorry you can't hear it. I love this kind of game though, ne? I love this kind of game that I have to think about. I know, like, 2 weeks from now I'll still be thinking about it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. This game is so good. I understand why it's like one of those classic games. I'm really glad that I got to play it and spend time with it. I still feel like certain things are missing. It reminds me very much of, like, recently I went to the Mocha. It's a, like, contemporary art museum, and I feel like a lot of times I'll sit with the music, with the art, and I'll try to figure it out. I cannot figure it out, or I have certain feeling, but I don't know exactly what a person is trying to convey. And the exhibit that I went to, they give you a little map showing you everything and talking about what the art means. And then when I got home, I was reading it, and it's like, oh, that makes so much sense. I feel like that's what's going to happen with this game. And I love things like that. If you can immediately understand fully what it is, it lacks... it doesn't make your brain think harder or something. I don't know. This is very, very good. And I feel like it's very rare in this world to find something that is so uniquely its own thing. This is one of those games, I feel like. Maybe... it's definitely not for everybody. I feel like this game is not for everybody, but this game is very much for me. Like, I love it so much. I do. That if you know games that are like this, please recommend them to me. Yes, I'm bad with gore, I will say. And this was fine. This was fine. body horror, monster, things like that, I'm okay with. So, but the music was so good. The art was so good and very unique style. I really like this game. This game is so good. So, I you know what? One more thing before I wrap up this recording time for me. I think I'm gonna look up. Did the thing that I got, was that how I got that ending? Okay, so we didn't need to do any of the stuff that we did, because I didn't have all the items, and all the items is for like a joke ending. It seems. It says if you got all of them, he'll sell you the grand brachial for 5,000 credits, which I don't have, but don't worry about that. I just want to see if it's here. Yeah, it is here! Associated with meat. Huh. Okay, hold up. Girl, hold up. I just sold everything because it's not like I'm going to save this slot anyway. Okay, buy this. There. And now, oh, I need to figure out what this means too, because I don't know what that means. So, and now it says, when you have all the grand items, go to Zachary in Zone 0. He will give you a choice between 2 special items. So, let's go over here. Oh, this game takes up so much room in my brain right now. I really like it though. I like it so much. I feel like I want to look back at my own VOD and like read through dialogue again. I just feel like I need to sink in a little bit more. No, but you have the 5 elements. If you'd like, I'll exchange them for an incredibly rare item. Okay. Hee, excellent. The choice is yours. I have a possession of the Ashley Bat, the ultimate offensive item in the game, or, well, the Ares card, which is, although I don't know what it's used for, is completely unique as well. Okay, we want the Ares card. Yes. Splendid. Here's your new treasure. Use it wisely. What if we walk away? I'm just trying to be a little punk now, huh? Nah, okay. I was just curious. I don't know what is happening. I feel so emotional, and I don't... Aside from the music is very touching, and if you know anything about Judy Garland, that's a whole other freaking thing that we don't want to get into. But I don't know. I'm gonna do some digging on Reddit. I feel... Okay. That was a little awkward, wasn't it? I'm gonna turn the sound back on. I wasn't sure if it was going into the secret ending or if I got stuck. You have the Ares card. You have unlocked the game's true ending. Meanwhile, in a parallel dimension. UFOs! I knew a little bit because I had to look it up. Oh. They're like a... Ratatam-tam-tam! We are the space apes. I didn't say that right, but that's fine. Everything happened just as we've foreseen. Now the world is completely white thanks to Melody. We can finally build our giant evil robot factory. And then we can defeat our lifelong nemesis, the flying brains from planet Aurus. They're excited. Ha ha ha. So orange. Okay. I love how, what's it called? I feel like all these horror games have like an alien secret goof ending, right? Like Silent Hill 2 had the dog. The dog. There was an alien one. There's the dog one and the alien one, right? I think so. That's been a long time since I played that. But you know what I'm saying. Hello. So, it's the next day. I've thought extensively about this game since yesterday when I finished playing. And I've written my own notes. I've looked up a couple like fan theory sort of things. It's just people's perspectives on the game. Some people feel like there's no meaning at all. Other people feel like there's different representations. I just want to talk about how I feel and what theories, I guess, kind of resonated with me personally. And then I want to show some art that I'm like obsessed with that Mortis Ghost drew. I will get there. It's so good. So good. First off, I want to say that I looked up one on Reddit. It's in the fan theory community, but to me it's very cut and dry. explanation of the game from a literal standpoint by SpaceCommunist, the 6 years ago, because this game is old. And it kind of lays out all the characters, kind of like the facts as we know it of the game, and then kind of adds a little thing at the end. I think a good point that this person makes is that this game is very much about ideals, desires, utopianism. I think absolutely. This reading, this helped me kind of get my brain around everything. I feel like because I spread this out over, I personally, if I was you, if you want to play or something, although you already watched this, I think it's good to play this in a very short period of time. I spread it out over a couple weeks, and I don't like that because there's so much detail, and I feel like it's good to kind of have it all in one little package. But reading this makes me feel like I feel like this story really is about kind of a euthanasia and like quality of life. Is keeping Hugo alive just to have the child alive worth it? Or are we thinking more quality of life, maybe let this person go? I feel like the mother and the queen figure, because they're kind of the same, is like something creation, existentialism, always thinking about life, trying to kind of maybe do too much. And I feel like Father Batter is like doing too little, that there's nothingness, death, purity, perfection, but lifelessness, like sterility, like a mu, like that kanji, those kind of things. I think it's very interesting. I really like that kind of the final battle between like a mother and father, and having two different ideals on maybe life, but also maybe what to do with Hugo in particular. I think is very interesting. I think also the mom seemed busy doing stuff, but later she comes picking him up. But it seems like the father was doing things, giving him more attention in some way than the mom did, for whatever reason, we don't know the reason. But at the end of the day, kind of abandoned him, it feels like. And he's left alone, Hugo. I think that's interesting. Like, where did the dad go? I don't know. I guess those things don't really matter, though, ne? And this theory by SpaceCommunist, at the end, the conclusion, he also basically, well, I'll get to the Guardians in a second, but that responsibility is a big part of this for both parents, and they both failed Hugo in different ways, kind of like what I was saying. That I think they go caught up in their own thing. That they sort of lost sight of the child in front of them. That I think that was the thing that kind of made the queen like lose her patience and like, we're gonna fight. The thing, I really like that line about like, you've been so busy making the birthday party that you forgot who it was for. I think that's very relatable kind of thing. People get very caught up in their feeling or in like doing stuff that they lose track of why they're actually doing it. I think parent in particular, not to call parents out, like, I'm not trying that, but I think parents can get so caught up in I have to do what's right by my child that they forget to spend time with their child. It's kind of an interesting situation, but that does happen. And with the Guardians, I think it's an interesting thing of showing how even when you start with good intention, like in that cabin, and they're all like, we're gonna do these things, how even with the best ideas and hopes and like motivation, it can still end badly. Neh. I also think it's interesting how the Guardians we meet in the cabin, how they act is very different than how we first encountered them when we killed them. That it shows a different side of them that makes you feel kind of like, because there was too much of, I feel like there's a theme of too much, that there's too much extreme or too much, I don't know if that's supposed to be the takeaway from this, but that's my takeaway of this game. Is it's a game about death that teaches you about life and about balance. And the balance part I don't think is supposed to be, but I feel very strongly about it. That like too much drive and ambition and Dedan being like, oh, we're gonna make this fantastic, people are going to work and like provide for society and be good about that, went from kind of a kind, caring person to being like yelling and being like worst boss ever, like really on them and always thinking the worst of them kind of thing. I think that too much of that led to him turning this way. And like Japhet really being in a lot of ways like too giving, like giving too much of yourself, that slowly you become and resent, like you don't appreciate me, giving so much that now you're kind of making it about you, but you know what I'm saying? Like turning resentful because you gave too much. And then Enoch his is a little less firm in my head, but I think being too indulgent, too much indulgence, and maybe too much of this hope without plan makes you kind of a foolish person in the end, or something like that. That's what I think. And even like with the queen trying to make this world, but is this really in the benefit of the child when you leave him alone, kind of in this prison with no toy, no nothing, just alone? Is that really the best interest for him? You get so caught up in creating all this stuff, you lose sight. And for the batter, in some ways, trying to purify and make everything simple, you're kind of ruining certain things too, in a way. I feel like everybody is too much, and wrong is a little judgmental. I don't mean it wrong. But if everybody had to balance, more balance, I don't know if it would turn this way. But I also think that it turned bad on purpose, because this is kind of a allegory for the Hugo's life, which that leads beautifully into the next theory. So this one that I found, The Symbolism of Off, an allegory of suicide by spiralshapesnowstorm. This person can write really well. I like the way they write. It's good. Brought up really, really good points. Really, really good points. I really like this. Their overall point, I'm linking all of the Reddit people in the description below so you can read, because they're kind of long, and I feel like me just like shrinking it down into bite size to tell you is not doing it justice. But this person, I feel like, helped me see it a little bit differently in a very interesting way. I think this person is more about like Hugo took pills to kill himself, but I think you can also make it even, you can back it up even more. And I really feel, I don't know why, but I feel very strongly about the dad wanted Hugo to die, the mom wanted to keep him alive no matter what. And that's, you can bring that to euthanasia as well as suicide, I think, too. This person also talks about how the secretaries are the manifestation of regret, and that the judge in his ending says, like, basically, like, all that we're left with is our regrets, and the purified zones have regrets. Those are the only things that are really there. I don't know. I still don't know what to make of the secretaries. I think it's a very interesting name that you decide to pick secretary. In the game file, I was looking through the pictures, they're labeled as baby, which I think is also interesting. They do look like really weird babies. I feel like, I don't know, this is just my feeling, like they're weird babies, but their secretary means that there's somebody above, I suppose, the secretary. Secretary kind of help you or field calls, something like that. That maybe they're like but they attack us. That's why I don't know. Like, who's in charge of the secretary or something like that? I'm not sure. I think this person's theory about them just being regrets and leaving it makes the most sense. But there's something with me being really stuck with that name that I can't fully accept. I also think their shapes are interesting because they point out they're in these wrestling clothes, which is different than boxing, but is in a similar field because they're both fighting things. I thought that was very interesting. And before I get into this person's, I guess, proposal of this game kind of representing brain and brain activity, because oh my god, so good. I love it. 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 It's fantastic. But before I get there, I think you can take these zones and have them represent a lot of things. Like, they could potentially represent the life of Hugo in general. Like the Elson, they're the babies, the little cute babies, they're called the Elson. They could be kind of like his unconscious mind. They could be cells of a body. They could be whatever. But I think Zone Zero, maybe this is getting too Evangelion and but I feel like Zone Zero is very womb-y. It's watery, no one's there. To me, it feels sort of comfortable. Like, that could be like a womb. And then maybe Zone 1 represents the strictness of the mother, because she seems sort of a strict kind of character. 2 is fearing life, being scared of what's going on. I think as a child, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, and if you don't have parents that are going to teach you, it just feels like everything is happening, and I don't know why, although sometimes in adulthood it feels like that too, though, but, whatever. And then, Zone 3, that good things hurt me. Good things hurt me, or, becoming ill, but maybe the people in charge or mom thinks everything's fine. a sort of like gaslighty situation, because Anak thought everything was fine, but he just didn't know that things were not fine. Denial, maybe, that you cannot face the reality of your situation, the reality of I'm a child and I'm going to die and that's not right. That you have to kind of distract yourself, but in those distractions you know you're only hurting yourself more. Something like that. The room could be like in some way like inadvertent, like I'm scared but I also want to die. I just want this to be over. I feel like for me, when I first played this, you saw, my impression was like, I cannot trust I will take the judge's side, I cannot trust the batter. I feel like I did a whole complete change of feeling. That now when I was watching it, trying to edit, I was like, girl, no. I really feel like the batter ending is the better ending, 100%. Because, what do you have? Like, what do you have at that point? In a lot of ways, even though the batter kills Hugo, I feel like there's a tenderness there that sounds really messed up. Like, I'm gonna kill you, but I'm gonna kill you tenderly. He wants to end his suffering in a way that doesn't feel as it's not the same as when he was just killing phantoms and that kind of stuff. I feel like the tone is very different. I do think that scene though is supposed to make you feel the way that I felt, but I think it's a provocative scene to try to have you really think. The initial gut reaction is like, I would never want to kill somebody. I don't want to kill a child. But I think when you think about it in the context of this game, of like, well, what is going to be here? And what kind of life is going to happen? That's a personal question I feel like everybody can have a different feeling about. But I found it to be very interesting how over time I felt more and more like I really don't like the judge ending. I really like the other ending instead. And I also feel like to have a good life, and this is a very difficult thing, I think permanence is a very important thing to constantly remember. I feel like the Japanese people are obsessed with that. Like, that nothing is really impermanent. That everything will live and die, and that's a cycle. I feel like American people in particular have a very difficult time with this name. But whatever. It is very hard. It's very hard. And as a younger person, I really hated that. I was like, I don't get why we need to be reminded that Cherry Blossom season is only 2 weeks or whatever, and then it's all gonna not be there. Like, that ruins my experience. But as somebody who's older and been through more stuff, I feel like now that is why you can appreciate it more. Because it can't always be there. So you have to live in the moment. And I think living in the moment is an extremely important thing to be happy in this world. When there's many things that are uncertain in the future. And I feel like the Queen's world was not good and kind of got all warped and effed up because there's no way, you can't let anything go. You can't let people just die. You gotta use their body and make sugar. You like, there's all these theme of like, I can't let things go. That, I think sometimes it's okay to have nothing. You know what I mean? You know, there are times in life where you're forced to let things go even if you don't want to. And I'm not saying those are like happy times, but that's just the way life is. And I think if you don't accept that, then your life will get worse because they're around, they're gonna haunt you. So you have to accept that fate even if it's hard. And that's what I feel like is being told in the batter's ending. Whereas if you don't accept it, then you have nothing but regret and you're just wandering around in this open space of nothing. That, to me, is a worse fate. Yes. And also to that point, I don't know. This is me called stretching it. The Japhet inside of Valerie thing has been like haunting me. Like, what the heck does this mean? I feel like the only thing I can think is you can't recreate something that's gone. You can't keep having something out of nothing, like the sugar thing, right? It's not good for you to do those things, to try to take something and either morph it into something else that's not good, you just need to let it go, or like, I don't know what it means that Japhet got eaten by Valerie. That I have nothing for you. But maybe this idea of like, can't accept Valerie's death. We have this fake Valerie that ends up being shown in this grotesque sort of way that like you're having to accept people die and things happen the way you don't want. I feel like that symbolism of Valerie and Pablo, why did I call him Pedro? Sorry. Pablo having a very hard time accepting that Valerie is gone and having that like kind of mental breakdown on the tower, which will haunt me forever. That scene in particular is very, very powerful. That scene, killing Hugo, finding out what the sugar is, those are very, very impactful scene, I feel like. But I think that's another sign of like you're hoping something will be there, but it won't be. And I don't mean this as a judgment. I think everyone has to go through those moments. It's very hard to accept when somebody you love is dead and they can never come back. It's got to be the hardest thing to go through in life, I think. So, but I think at some point you have to move through that and accept this is reality, even if it's so painful. Because if you can't, then things get worse. Okay, so the brilliant spiral-shaped snowstorm, which I don't know why I have trouble saying. This person bring up such a freaking good point. The flowers and the brain, well, the flowers thing first is that I do think some of the floral patterning that is in stuff is similar to, you know, when you get a brain scan. I do think, I never thought about this before, but I was looking at some of the orchid pictures, not all of them, obviously, but some of them, they do feel brain-y. I think it's very, I don't know what to totally make of this, but, you know, at the end, Japhet is like, oh, that's a nice book, you should keep that book, look at the book, and it's just pictures of orchids and numbers. I really don't know what to make of that, but I think that it's interesting what this person is saying about the brain stuff. Because this person also basically says that flower book shouldn't be taken at face value, because there's like a hint that that's, you know, it's not just that. So basically they break up the zones into different places of the brain that I think work very, very, very well. Very well. So zone 1 is the frontal lobe, which basically movement, planning, that kind of stuff. Because this is a procurement and distribution center. So I think that that's very interesting. And matching the add-on circles to the zone that you find them in. Because I kind of noticed a little bit, but I never really talk about it. I didn't really know what to do with that information. So Alpha uses programming skill name. It's all of the character name, I think, like most of them, they have like a theme in what they talk about. So like so Alpha uses the, what's it called, these, and then like the Sukra, she uses all these like sweets names, and the Queen uses the musical ones, stuff like that. So basically for zone 2, they say that it's like the parietal lobe, spatial awareness, forming cognition out of senses. I think you could even argue that like spatial awareness and the way that this place is set up is a little funky. Because basically this person's argument is that like brain function is shutting down due to like an overdose of medication. This doesn't really fully go anywhere, but it was something I also noticed too, is in zone 2, they said water, like having water in the indoor buildings, that is there, and I guess in French, instead of saying like other, I'm gonna butcher, like submerge, it's not pronounced that way, but you know what I mean? You could say that instead, but they said sous l'eau, and that's, you specifically put water when maybe you didn't need to put water. I don't know the meaning of this. I really don't. But I think it's an interesting little tidbit. They also talk about how having Japhet inside of Valerie and then being kind of forced out at the end is denoting how closed off Japhet had become. And now it's like coming out, like he became a different person due to getting all like irritated and taking it very personally that the Elsons get really like can't appreciate and start getting really freaked out about everything. I also forgot to mention that the add-on here in zone 2 is Omega, and referencing photography, aesthetic, angles, framing, visual detail. I think that also kind of ties back to spatial awareness. This to me, the zone 3 is right. It feels like it's a little soft, but you know, whatever. Epsilon is about like art movement styles, suffixes relating to theater and like a plays. That was my vibe of it. They tie it to occipital lobe, processes vision and identification of colors, objects seen, and kind of tying this to being intoxicated. I think you could also make a case for cerebellum, because cerebellum is about like regulating like pleasure and fear response, and they kind of have weird for both of those. But they also say that the hidden fifth element is involved could indicate an inclusion of the limbic lobe, which is under the four lobes. I think also you could make a case for like the brain stem for that too, but I feel like now we're just going and grooving and moving into something else. But this is fun to me. This is very fun, and I enjoy brain stuff, so I don't know. But I feel like even though this one's a little soft, the other two feel really right to me. I really like them. And then for the room, temporal lobe, encoding memory, it's usually long-term memory, as well as how it relates to emotion. And this person basically they say many things. Please read it, it's so good. But I really like this point of the burnt Elson being misfiring synapses. It's just delightful. That's delightful. I don't really know what to make of the burnt Elson either, aside from like too much negative feelings kind of corrupt them into something else. I think that maybe it's like a not wanting to accept these feelings, so they kind of burn out and get bad. The other scene that really stand out to me in this game is being in the train in Zone 3 and having to go out and kill the person who wants to like die in front of the train and won't attack you and just as help. That burnt Elson really stand out to me. That there's this like trying to avoid this black kind of burnt feeling of having all these negative feelings that maybe aren't accepted, or really wanting to die but being scared of it at the same time. Being scared of the dark, Hugo feels scared of the dark, but kind of cannot live like this. I thought an interesting thing too was looking at the sprite art, that Hugo is holding onto a piece of meat, that maybe that kind of symbolizes wanting to stay in a physical realm or in your physical body, instead of dying and knowing that you're dying and trying to hold on to it. That was not put in here, that was just me talking. And finally, the last one I kind of want to reference is Hotaru Fox on Reddit as well. Brought up a lot of what they personally feel that Off has to say. Very good points, very, very good points. Something I didn't mention is I really like this the entirety of Zone Free reinforces this message of work and the exploitation of truth and workers' labor and sanity in pursuit of an addictive cycle of consumerism. I think that the sugar can really be seen like that. They're constantly creating and it's never enough. Consumerism is totally what's going on there. Good. I like it. And then just some little cleanup things that I wanted to mention. I'm sorry this is a little rambly, but I'm just very excited about this. The last quote that Zachary says at the end is, "He who prevails over himself is twice victorious." I don't know what to make of this. Aside from, like, is it your mental feeling? Because I do feel like this game is about death and potentially suicide. That is this kind of a talk of trying to overcome that. I also think that even if this is a game that's mostly about Hugo and that kind of a death and those things, I think it talks a lot about adult life in particular. Of like Zone 1, I already kind of talked about this when I was stalling with a knock, but like, grass is always greener, trying to constantly go to a different thing and having your whole life be so about work, but then it's never really appreciated. You're always kind of getting stepped on by the bigger, higher up person. Zone 2 being worrying about safety and not letting fear consume you and what happens if fear consumes you. And then like Zone 3, trying to be faced with like reality can be so harsh that it will make you insane. Trying to, distract yourself, or what feels good really hurts us, or what maybe tastes good hurts us. And then there's this disconnect between the regular working class people and Enoch, who's like in his own little zone, kind of reaping the benefit of the people who are working, but not understanding what craziness is going on and how the people are suffering. And he thinks, oh, everything's fine, those kind of things. Those feel like very, very strong statements of what it's like to be an adult and realizing adult things about the world that don't, to me, totally tie in to Hugo's thing. That's not a really criticism or anything like that. I just think it's another element that is very interesting to me that I really appreciate. And I feel like, for me personally, as someone who lets fear kind of run the ship too many times, having these reminders, having these like reflected to you in the Elson is very, very effective to kind of make you go like, okay, Okay. Like, because it's so extreme. But I think all of us do this a little bit, just as living adults in a society. Like, I think it's easy to do. So it's nice to have a reminder of, like, how do you best live your life? And I think nothing can be a better reminder of trying to appreciate life more than death. Another thing I really, really liked is if you do the batter end, it's a kind of a circular feeling. You start battling the judge as an ally, as a friend that helps you kind of understand how battle system work, and at the end you choose to fight and kill the judge. I love that kind of thing so much. So good. That kind of like it all comes full circle. Girl, I love that. I love it. Another little like random interesting point that I was thinking about is when you have the the bad batter, and he looked more like a duck. We ride the pedalo. I don't know. This is stretching. This is definitely stretching. But a part of me wonders if maybe that's his true form. The judge saw him like that. And on the wiki, it said something about, like, that's how the judge saw him, and not confirming that's what the batter looks like. But part of me wonders, like, do we see the batter as human because we are human? We're playing as a human? Or, like, the human characters see the batter as human? How did Hugo see the batter? Did he see him as a man, like a human man-looking person? Or was this a monster that came? Like, I think that's very interesting. I don't know what to make of the Sukura fight, how she talks about the big pedalo and things like that. If that's a reference to us, if that's just something else. The only thing that really sticks with me, that bugs the hell out of me, I feel like, is when you go to the purified, the secretaries still feel like floating around, but when you go to the purified zones, you hear banging, like, hey, talking, but it's muffled. Is this like a feeling of this world is separate from the world that the queen created? Is it the queen trying to be like, hey, I can't go here anymore, kind of thing? I don't know fully. To me, it sounded more like a kid, but Hugo is kind of stuck in there. He's not like wandering all over the place, so it can't be him, right? Or maybe it is, because he knew when the other ones died. I don't know what to make of it. All right, and before we move on to art, because I want to show art of Zachary and stuff. First, I thought it was a surgical face mask. You know, that was what Zachary was wearing, but apparently it's a whole face mask, which I'll show in a second. But I think that for him, he kind of maybe represents somebody. I don't remember which one said it now. Somebody said that maybe he's like this representation of a doctor who's helping, who's kind of going along with the story for a child. I think that makes sense to me. See, it's a mask, dude. It's a mask. I don't know why I thought it was like that. I literally thought it was this part, but I feel like this art is helping me. Also, I'm obsessed with Mortis Ghost's like a style of art. We talk about it in the game, but seeing these drawings are just so good. We'll show. Once again, here is the cool Zachary. Oui, pourquoi pas? That's like a yes. Why not, right? I remember French. I took 4 years of French. Like, look at these. I guess Mortis Ghost, I have to find like an interview with him, but confirmed like this Zachary is a human. I love these. They're just so simple but so good. Is it supposed to be mustache? I always thought this was a whole mouth. I mean, that's why I thought it was a face mask, right? The surgical face mask here. But maybe it's supposed to be a mustache. I don't know. But like, look at these. These are fantastic. Look at this. Beautiful. Wonderful. I want to frame these. I just really like the way that they look. You cannot go past the block, ne? I think is what they say. But I don't know. These are just so fantastic. I want to like frame these in my home. I love everything about them. I do. I don't know why. They're so cool. They have such a good style. Beautiful, wonderful, fantastic, love. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this game. I am very, very glad that I was able to finally have time to play it and experience this. I feel like it's one of those games that's in like the Undertale category in my heart, where I love it very, very much, and I feel like I'm changed or will think about things differently in the world because of this game. I think to me personally, as somebody who trying to create my own stuff, I think it's that to me is the highest compliment. To have your work affect somebody to that extent that they see things in a new way, I think that's all you can ask. Yeah, and I feel like the things that I love the most do that, and I feel like I don't know, maybe this is a little too hokey pokey, but I feel like sometimes stories find you when you need them at the right time, and I feel like this game about death and what constitutes life for me in my current personal life right now is like, it couldn't have been a better time. I feel like this game made me think about things in a lot of ways and touched me very much. There's a lot of crying. There's a lot of crying, especially sitting through the Somewhere Over the Rainbow multiple times as I was doing different things. I was very, I don't want to show, but I was getting very emotional. It's a very touching ending. I think I also will never be able to hear that song again without thinking of this game, and that makes me very, very happy. It's like a very beautiful memory or something that I get to have because I got to play this game. So I can't wait to find out more. I can't wait to read more about interviews from Mortis Ghost and look up more things that he may have done in the future. I feel like I'm a big fan now. Big fan of art style alone. Just, oh, it's so good. I love it so much. It's like I can't tell you, I could look at those sketches forever. They're so wonderful. I want to have like them everywhere. But to have a story that is so impactful and so heavy with meaning and can be interpreted in so many different ways, I find just delightful. I love those kind of stories, so yes. And I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like it was a kind of a weird series maybe. There was a lot of confusion sometimes and complain a little, but overall, I really, really love this game. I hope I show my feeling of falling in love with this game because it's very, very close to me. I very much loved it, and I hope you did too. So, until I see you whenever I see you next, remember to be kind to others, especially yourself. Take care, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye-bye!